Hello Star Wars The Old Republic players, and welcome to a brand new video. We got the developer livestream yesterday for 7.7.1 update, but we also got brand new information about the upcoming story. So let us discuss straight up what's happening with story. The next story update is not coming in this 7.7.1 update, but it is coming on the next one, 7.8. This 7.8 update is expected to arrive during the holidays, as Eric mentioned, which likely means that we will get this update on December, of course bearing in mind that something doesn't happen along the way. This story update will be Galactic threats that was originally going to release with 7.6. Now the 7.7 story that's called Master's Enigma will be releasing on 7.8.1, which means that we will get a story update and then another story update on the next update, back to back, which is a good thing. Of course, since 7.8 is dropping on these holidays, it means that 7.8.1 will drop next year. The reason for this is that you have to keep in mind that the voice actor strike did end, but they also have to contact each of the voice actors needed for each of the characters. And to achieve that, they have to coordinate with them, their availability, and all that kind of stuff. Another story feature that uses voice acting is date nights. Date nights will be returning in 7.8.1, and the date nights will be Kira Carsen and Torian Cadera. As I already mentioned, 7.8.1 will be next year. They will give us more details about these specific date nights when the live stream for that update happens. But it's good to know in advance that we are getting more date nights and what characters specifically are we getting. So that's all the info they gave us about the state of the story. So we move forward now with what's coming late August 7.7.1 update. As you know, this update brings us a new Galactic season, and this one follows similarly to the last one. Kai Saiken needs your help again, but instead of using uprisings, you will be using flashpoints in this new Galactic season with combat enhancers. But they're also bringing in new combat enhancers. One of them is the experimental repulsor field that essentially gives you force powers to levitate enemies and push them against another enemy. Another enhancer is the projectile probe, which essentially gives you two probes that work like turrets side by side, floating with you, shooting at enemies with you. As for the rewards on this Galactic season, here's the full list that they gave us of all the items. Essentially, the theme of the season is also inspired by Andor Season 2. They did not show us everything in the Galactic season like the decorations or armor, but they did show us these mounts, as you can see here. The Verdier Iconics P1 and P1 versions. There's the Lux Line version. We have the minus mount, minus Stinger, minus B, and minus Mud Delver. Now another reward that they show us visually is the T7 customization. This customization will be available through achievements. As you know, last time, if you had to complete a certain amount of achievements during the Galactic season to get a new hairstyle, this time you'll get this special T7 customization. To go along with the theme of the season being flashpoints, they are introducing a lot of quality of life improvements for flashpoints. One of them is that you can now select multiple roles that you can do in the activity finder. This is because of combat styles that you can have more than one combat available, and you can switch up to either be a tank, a support, or a DPS class. And the activity finder will now let you select which role you're willing to play. But the biggest change to the activity finder flashpoints is the removal of cutscenes. That's right, veteran and master flashpoints will no longer have the choice cutscenes that you normally have in, for example, Black Talon or DSLs, that you often see players typing spacebar please because they want to skip the cutscenes, and there's always someone that falls asleep at the keyboard, doesn't do it. Well, this solves that problem by adding a fade to black on all these cutscenes. Keep in mind, you can still do these flashpoints with the cutscenes on your own or in your own private group. This only impacts if you are trying to do a flashpoint via the activity finder. Another great bonus is that you can now earn daily rewards and weekly mission credits even if you don't select all the flashpoints in the filter. There will also be a specific activity finder for the flashpoints that involve the Galactic season combat enhancers. Similar to other updates, we're also getting some combat updates. This time they're focusing on classes that are Mercenary Commando, Operative Scoundrel, and Sorcerer Sage. As an example, for Assassin Shadow, there'll also be other balance updates. As you can see here listed on the screen, they show us 2 examples, but they will be doing a full list of combat changes later on. Now, an interesting unexpected change is the security key update. As you know, if you have a security key, you normally get 100 cartel coins monthly. However, in order to keep gaining those cartel coins, starting with 7.7.1, you need to log in within the last 20 or 30 days. Now there's some really big major changes for free-to-play players. Firstly, all players can now sprint at level 1. This means instead of walking until level 10, you can start just running right at the gate of the start of the game. All players can now also train speeder piloting at level 10, meaning using mounts. But there's even more major changes. The big one that I think a lot of people did want is that you can now hide your head slot. No matter if you're a free-to-play or preferred player or subscriber, you can now hide your head slot without having to pay for anything to do it. Other things include gaining access to companion customization, gaining access to use legacy titles, be able to earn Rex XP, gain the first cargo bay for free, and withdraw more credits from the escrow when using cartel coins. But that's not all. Another issue that a lot of players have is with artifact authorization, meaning being able to put on a purple crystal in your lightsaber or other weapon. Beginning with this update 7.7.1, you will no longer require artifact authorization for any player for gear that's under level 80. The gear that will require the authorization will only be essentially endgame gear, meaning level 80 purple or gold gear. These are very huge improvements that will help a lot of players are always confused about how some of these systems work, and now they don't have to be confused at the start of the game. Of course, when there's so many new features for free-to-play players, that means there's new features for subscribers. The subscribers are getting a login rewards event from September 9 to December 9, where they are able to earn a new currency that can be used on a new vendor specially for subscribers. This vendor will carry endgame or leveling gear, special experience boosters, crafting boosters, and even some unique companion customizations that will be inspired by the Andor Disney Plus show. This customization can be used on the droids 2VR8 and C2N2. Essentially, I suspect that this customization is to turn your droid companion into K2SO from Andor. But that's speculation on my part. They did not visually confirm what the customization looks like. Moving on, we have the event of the Feast of Prosperity that's returning on October 7, which will bring us a couple of new rewards. These includes new decorations. As you can see here, the banquet hanging light, pretty nice. Wall shelves, which I really love. I love wall shelf decorations. We have more new guests sitting on chairs here. That's cool. I love that decoration to make like a restaurant in the game. And there's some new armor customization with the Feast Attendee robe, the Feast Attendee robe with scarf, and the Feast Attendee head wrap. Essentially, is going to vary the customization options. You can either have a scarf, no scarf, or even have a head wrap on your head. Of course, it's not an update without some brand new Cartel Market offerings as well, and these are also inspired by Andor. First, we have the brushback hairstyle. We also have the Nightfall operative glasses here, that's also using the new hairstyle. They did not show us, but they're working on an armor inspired by Andor's Episode 1 Season 2, where it's essentially a pilot outfit. So stay tuned for when they release images of that in the future. They also show us this mount, the Path 11 Imperial Scout mount. Looks pretty nice. There's also Cartel Market sales that already started. Right now, it is active a sale on mounts. On August 11, it will be tunings, toys, and crystals. August 23 weapons, September 4 armor, and September 16 decorations. Moving on, we have character modernization. The Rattaki species had not gotten the modernization treatment, and they will be having it on this update 7.7.1. As you can see, they updated the situation about the aging that was updated in other species, and they also updated the neck seams. Additionally, they're adding a lot of new hair and mantra color options for all the species essentially. So now there's tons and tons of new hair colors for you to use on your characters with brand new tone colors. Granted, this only applies to characters that use hair, obviously. And in the case of Togruta, they did give us options as well for the mantras. They're also working on improvements to Dark Side Corruption, as some essentially did not show very well the corruption, while others completely changed the skin of your character. So someone that was black skin was turning fully white, which didn't make sense, and they're improving that to make sure that doesn't happen, as you can see in the images here. In other little short news, they updated us on DirectX 12 that is still in the works for the game, where they are working to upgrade the UI technology in the game and implement baseline shader. They'll be doing a technical alpha on the public test server in the future. So quick recap, 7.7.1 is the new update coming at the end of August with a brand new season, and after that we get game update 7.8 that will give us the Galactic threat storyline coming tentatively on December, as they said, the holiday update. And after that we get 7.8.1, that is the next story update, Master's Enigma, and it will also include the date nights for Kira and Torian Cadera. And to wrap this up, there's currently a Twitch drop, which is this Carsen art decoration. So go watch a Twitch live stream of Star Wars: The Old Republic now to get it. And when the new update drops on late August, you can grind for this mount, the TF7 Striker. So that's it for everything Star Wars: The Old Republic. Hope you guys are excited. I'm excited the story is moving forward, and I'm excited to check out all the cool things coming with 7.7.1. See you next time!